Camille didn't say a word. He just spit in her face. Everyone saw it. The smirk, the spit, the silence that followed. He thought she was just some random woman. But in 5 minutes, he'd learn exactly who she was. And it would cost him everything. The Redford Police Department was busy that morning. Phones ringing, printers humming, and officers trading stories across desks. Camille Warren walked in quietly. No uniform, no badge showing. Just jeans, a white t-shirt, and a black jacket. It was her first day as chief of police, but she didn't want anyone to know yet. She wanted to see how people really acted before the speeches and fake smiles. She'd already read the files, complaints about harassment, favoritism, and one officer's name that kept coming up, Ray Denton. Camille made it halfway across the squad room before she heard a sharp voice. The first words she heard on her first day weren't welcome or good morning. They were, "Who let you in here?" And that was just the start of it. Well, who let you in here? She turned. Denton was leaning back in his chair, boots on his desk, uniform shirt open at the collar. He gave her a slow, dismissive look. "You lost, sweetheart? This ain't Starbucks, sweetheart. You'd get eaten alive trying to cop here." A few of the guys laughed under their breath. "No," Camille said evenly. "Just walking through." Denton stood up, stepped closer. "This is a police station, not a coffee shop. You wouldn't last a minute as a cop here." A couple of officers snickered. Camille didn't respond. Then, just like that, he spit, right in her face. The whole squad room froze. Not one word, not one apology, just that nasty little smirk. Camille wiped her cheek slowly, eyes locked on him. She said nothing. The real lesson was about to be his. Without a word, she turned and walked toward the briefing room. Every eye followed her. Denton barked after her, but she didn't look back. Inside, the captain was already speaking. "Before we start, our new chief is here. She's requested to say a few words." Every head turned toward the door, expecting someone in full dress uniform. Instead, Camille stood, gaze fixed on Denton. She still didn't say who she was. Not yet. She walked to the podium, unhurried, letting the suspense settle in the air. Denton shifted in place, his earlier swagger cracking just a little. He didn't know it yet, but the warrant check he just requested, it was going to come back with her name, her photo, and her title. She wasn't nervous, not angry either. She was done pretending. Denton thought he spat on a nobody. He had no clue who she was. But he was about to find out. Camille reached the podium and set her hands on either side. The room went still. "My name," she said clearly, "is Chief Camille Warren." Murmurs rippled through the room. A few jaws actually dropped. The older sergeant, Harris, let out a slow breath, realization hitting him all at once. She let the silence hang, her gaze sweeping the room before landing on Denton. "I came in this morning, without a uniform, without a badge showing, to see this department for what it is when no one's watching, and what I saw wasn't good." Denton's smirk was gone. He stood rigid, hands clenched behind his back, eyes darting anywhere but hers. "In the past 20 minutes, I've seen an officer spit on someone he didn't recognize. I've seen others laugh at it. I've heard language and attitudes that have no place in this department or any department." She reached into her jacket and pulled out a folder. "I've also read personnel files, complaints, disciplinary actions. There's one file here that's thicker than the rest." She tapped the folder. "Officer Ray Denton." Now the room was dead quiet. Denton's face turned a shade paler. "This file," she said, "already crossed my desk last week. I was scheduled to review it today. Excessive force complaints, conduct unbecoming, harassments. You've been slipping by for years, Denton, barely. And today, you broke through." Denton finally spoke, his voice tight. "Chief, Stop," she said sharply. "When you spit in my face, you didn't just disrespect a person. You disrespected this badge, this city, and every officer in here who still believes in doing the job with integrity." She looked out at the rest of the room. "And let me make something else clear. This isn't just about one officer. It's about a culture that lets behavior like this slide. That ends now. Camille took a step to the side and nodded to Harris. Sergeant, collect Officer Denton's badge and weapon. Effective immediately, he's suspended without pay pending investigation. Harris didn't hesitate. He walked over to Denton, hand out. Denton froze, then slowly unfastened his duty belt, laying it on the desk before unpinning his badge. The sound of the metal hitting the wood was loud in the silence. Camille turned back to the rest of the room. Some of you are shocked. Some of you aren't. If you're part of the problem, trust me, I'll find out. And if you're here to serve and protect the right way, then you'll have my full support. Her eyes locked on Denton one last time. You told me I wouldn't last a minute as a cop here. She paused, cold stare. The truth is, you wouldn't last the minute under the kind of leadership this department needs, and now you won't have to. She closed the folder with a snap, handed it to Harris, and stepped away from the podium. Harris walked Denton toward the door. Denton kept his head down, his jaw tight, but his ears burned red. When the door shut behind him, Camille stepped back to the podium. Let me be clear, she said. What happened this morning is not an isolated incident. I came here knowing this department had problems. I came here to fix them. And the first step is simple. There will be zero tolerance for disrespect, abuse, or misconduct. Period. Several officers shifted in their seats. A few nodded slightly. Others stared at the floor. Then Harris stepped forward again. Chief, he said, I served with your father. Finest officer I ever knew. He talked about you all the time, said you were tougher than half the guys in his unit. Camille allowed herself the smallest smile. He taught me a lot, Sergeant, including how to stand my ground. Harris's words seemed to ripple through the room. A couple of younger officers straightened up, almost proud to be hearing it. Camille glanced toward the side table and picked up a thin stack of folders. Starting today, I will personally review every open use of force report in this precinct. If your report is clean, you have nothing to worry about. If it's not, well, you saw what happened. Someone in the back cleared their throat. Another officer quickly sat up and faced forward. This isn't about fear. It's about trust. The public doesn't trust us when we don't hold ourselves accountable. And from this moment forward, we're going to earn that trust back. One call, one stop, one decision at a time. She closed the folders and looked around the room. Dismissed. And remember, every day from here on out, you represent more than yourself. You represent this badge. If you can't do it with integrity, find another line of work. Officers began to rise, some heading out for their shifts, others lingering with sidelong glances at their new chief. Harris stayed back a moment. You shook this place up in under an hour, he said quietly. Camille's eyes followed the doorway where Denton had left. Sometimes that's the only way to start. When the squad room finally emptied, Camille stood alone at the podium, hands resting on the edge. She thought about Denton's words, you wouldn't last a minute here. He was wrong. She'd already lasted more than a minute, and in that short time, she'd changed the direction of the entire room. She knew some officers would resent her, some would wait for her to slip up, but others, maybe more than she realized, would see that she meant what she said. Respect wasn't about a title or a badge. It was about how you treated people, whether they wore a uniform or walked in off the street. Denton built his authority on intimidation. She would build hers on accountability.